trying to corral it to keep it in. Just did. Top of the circle. Scores! Austin Matthews, number 60. He barely kept the puck in at the blue line. Got to the sweet spot right in the hash marks and just whistled it. 60 goals in a season. And they're on their feet here at Scotiabank Arena, as they should be.
Welcome to the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast. I'm Chad.
I'm Dale.
Coming up on tonight's podcast, episode number 148, we look back on the Leafs 3-0 win over the Red Wings. Austin Matthews, the first Leaf ever to score 60 goals in a season, and he does it in mustache style. The Leafs clinch home ice in the first round of the playoffs, and we got one game left. We've already clinched home ice. Are we looking at massive load management for the last game of the season? I mean, we'll get into it. We got some injury updates. We're also going to look at the D pairs, how they're going to start the playoffs. And we got segments tonight. A very special edition of Saved by the Stash with a special appearance from Zach Morris, AC Slater, and Tony Danza. Is this right?
Oh, that's what I hear. That's what I'm hearing.
Wow. All this and more coming up on episode 148. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Tip In Maple Leafs Podcast, on Twitter at the Tip In Podcast. Email us, thetipinpodcast@gmail.com, and check out this YouTube page at the Tip In Maple Leafs Podcast. Hit like, hit subscribe, and check out our live streams because we do all our podcasts on live streams. And with the playoffs coming up, there'll be a live stream after every playoff game. Dale, how are you?
Good, buddy. You?
I'm doing good.
Okay, so there he is. He's right there. Where is he? There he is. There's the puck right there. If you're watching the stream, if you're listening to the audio version of this later, you can't see it, but he's just got, look at how great that mustache looks. Eh? He is just so happy. Look at that. You just tickle that little mustache. I can't quite get it right, but there it is.
If you're listening to this in the podcast, we got a picture up on the live stream, and Dale's trying to tickle Austin Matthews' mustache.
Yeah.
You're not the only one who's tried that.
No. And he was happy, eh? Like, he was doing the interview with
unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
He was doing the interview with Bob McKenzie's kid or whatever, like during the intermission, and he's like asking him about, does he, getting to 60, if it means anything or whatever. And he's like, I forget what he said. What did he say during the intermission? He's like, it's not the end of the world if I don't get it, but obviously, like, yeah, I want to get there.
Yeah.
And he said, he's like, I told the boys I'm shooting it tonight. I'm ripping it tonight. And he sure was ripping it, man. That was fucking beaut. Absolute beaut.
Yeah, he said he was going to shoot it every chance he got. And he did. And he got to 60. He did it, man. 60 goals. Unbelievable.
It was great, man. I absolutely loved that. Loved that. Now, do you want me to tell the story off the top or no? Like what I told you before we started recording?
Yes, tell everyone the story. Tell everyone the story.
So I wasn't going to go there, but it is probably worth a share. But I have to wear, it's called a halter, which is like a heart monitor for a couple days to just monitor the old ticker and see what's going on. There's some issues, like whatever, that I'm having. Nothing serious, I don't believe. So could be related to like an anxiety thing. I'm not 100% sure, but running some tests to see what's going on. So this morning I had to go to have it put on. So, all good. The person that I encounter was like a very attractive young blonde and female. And
she was assisting you in putting the halter on.
Well, here's the thing. So I'm waiting and I'm not thinking anything of it. Like, I'm waiting in the waiting room. She calls me in. And then there was another test they did first. But so I get in the room. This is honest truth. This is a true story. This is not a joke. And she, as soon as I get in there, she's like kind of running me through a couple things. They were doing another test first. They did a test there, and then I had to leave with the halter for like 2 days and then bring it back. So she's like, okay. She's like, just if you just want to take everything you're wearing upstairs off, like if you just want to take everything off, just go ahead and take everything off. I'm like, oh, I felt like Chevy Chase. I'm like, you want me to like when he's shopping for his wife's Christmas present lingerie, you want me to take something out for you? Like, that's what I was like picturing Christmas Vacation. But anyway, so I start just stripping it down, man. Like I'm getting right down there. I had my Mitch Marner sunglasses on to start, even though it wasn't sunny this morning. I'm like, I don't do bright eyes in the morning, so shades went off first. It was like the start of a porno, basically. So glasses come off, hoodies coming off, shirts coming off. I start undoing my belt. She goes, "Whoa." No, that didn't happen. That part didn't happen. But I did say, "Do you want me to take my shoes off?" And she goes, "No." But like little did I know, they did end up hooking things. You ever had anything like this done?
No.
They do end up hooking two of the things to my like ankles down by my feet. So that was weird. So she's kind of yanking around on my jeans and figuring it all out down there. Anyway, so that's all good. The initial test, I'm laying there just, tarp off fully, and she's like doing the initial test. That all good. And then when she's like gonna put the heart monitor on or the halter on for me to leave, she goes, "Okay, just sit up there for a second." She's like, "I'm just gonna have to shave your chest." "I'm just gonna have to shave your chest," she says. I'm not that hairy of a dude. And I was thinking of manscaping a little bit before I went to this, but I didn't know if it was going to be some dude putting the wires on or I wasn't expecting a hot young blonde. That's what I was not expecting. But sure enough, like that's what I fucking got, man. So she gets out a fucking Bic and she
used a Bic?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh,
did she put cream on first?
No, she did not.
Oh
no, she didn't. She grabbed a fucking Bic and she just started going for it. But she was delicate. We were having a little conversation. We had a nice little stop and chat, kind of like this whole procedure probably took 15 minutes total from the time I was there to the time I left.
Right.
But it was a nice little, we were talking and I was asking her some questions about it because I'd never done anything like this before.
Right. No, you've never had your chest picked.
So, well, no, not that, but I've just never done anything like with the heart test and stuff before. So anyway, so she's shaving away and she's close contact, man. Like this is very close. Like when we're in extreme close contact here.
Yeah. She's shaving your chest.
She's shaving my chest. She's full on. I'm sitting there.
Like, that's got to be pretty close.
Yeah. She is full on shaving my, I've got this like attractive young blonde shaving my chest. So anyway, I felt like I haven't groomed in a while. So I got a hairy, bushy belly and just whatever. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't really thinking like that.
You're going to the doctor. You don't.
Yeah,
think,
exactly.
You don't think about that.
Anyway, she ends up shaving it. No gloves or anything the entire time. I was a little caught off guard by that she just went bare hands. That's usually a sign. I took that as a sign, as in like, I thought she was going to just lock the door and it was just things were just going to get, she was going to be like, "Let's get to the bottom of this heart situation right now." That did not happen, but that's what I was thinking was going to happen.
But you're okay, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm fine. I feel fine. I just have to wear this thing for a couple days. I have to bring it back on Friday and then they'll let me know what's going on and go from there. So, but anyway, just the encounter with the hot blonde was not expecting. And all of a sudden, when I woke up this morning, I did not think I was going to be sitting in the doctor's office having a hot blonde shaving my hairy chest. I'll tell you that much. That's usually how it all starts, man. Like I was.
Oh yeah, that's how it starts.
So anyway, I was like, yeah. Anyway,
the funny thing is, none of that was probably running through her mind.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, but it was all running through your mind because you've watched so much porn in your life that you just think that. You just think
I thought it was.
I'm in the same boat as you. Like I've walked into the bank before where it's really quiet and there's just like one girl working, and in my mind I'm like, all right, so she's gonna lock the doors and we're gonna go. I've seen this in the movies before. This is how it works.
Yeah, exactly, right. So anyway, okay, so whatever, it's all good. I left, it's all good. I was like, whatever, it's all good.
Good.
So all right, so here we go, man. Right out of the gates here. So I'm thinking this Detroit game, right? Like Detroit comes into town. Mustache is leading 2 goals for 60, and Mitch still 3 points away from 100 going into this game against Detroit on Tuesday night. And I wasn't really sure. What were you thinking going in here? Like, what were you thinking?
I was expecting kind of a boring game. I was expecting them to play not to get hurt. Like I knew Matthews was going to try to score his 60 goals,
Oh, sure.
but I expected. I don't know. I kept hearing people being like, "Oh, Detroit's going to want to win because they want to end strong and stuff." I don't think so. I think they're like, "I don't want to be injured in the summertime. Just end the season and let's go home." It kind of looked that way in the first period.
With Detroit. Yeah, like Detroit to me looked like bags were packed. Like they're just like, let's go. Let's
And
get to it.
Toronto wasn't really giving it their all. Like Matthews was shooting every time he got the puck, but I mean they weren't engaged throughout the whole game. But he got the 2 goals, and it was a super exciting game because of that. Other than that, I thought it was kind of a meh kind of game. And Campbell got the shutout, but what did he make? 20 saves?
Yeah, 20 save shutout for Jackie Boy. We'll get to that later. So right off the top here, man, right off the top. So the Leafs end up winning this puppy 3-0. Obviously, he gets his 60th. We'll do a recap, full on everything. But 3-0. You know what that means? Austin had the first goal, JT had the second, and Austin had the insurance helper in the third for make it 3-0. But the game winner, first goal of the game, scored by Austin Matthews, his 59th goal of the season. Baby,
we're saved by the stash.
We're going back to we're going to the max right now. Back to the max.
Let's hit it.
It's alright, 'cause I'm saved by the. It's alright, 'cause I'm saved by the. It's alright, 'cause I'm saved by the stash.
Here it is, game winner, right here, right off the gates, man, right out of the gates.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a 3-0 game or an overtime. A game winner's a game winner.
Game winner's a game winner. So he scores his first goal of the game, his 59th of the season, at the 15:48 mark of the first period. So I'm thinking, okay, here we go. Now, at least, like, if he doesn't get the second one here tonight, there's a game left for him. Like, he's really got a good chance to get to 60. If he didn't score, even if he didn't get it last night, I'm like, you know, he could have still got it in the Boston game, whatever. But we'll get into more of like massive load management, who we think should play, who we think Keith should not play. We'll get into that. But massive load management. Stay tuned for that. But so here we go. So he rips it home. It's 1-0. He was just all over it. Like you could tell he was just like he
just wanted to get it done.
Oh, for sure.
Just wanted to get it done, and now it's, you know, he can just relax until the playoffs.
Isn't it crazy that he scored twice in this game and Mitch didn't get an assist?
Yeah, I thought that was insanely crazy. And Mitch was on the ice. No, Mitch was on the ice for the second goal, but not the first, right?
Yeah, he was. So anyway, 1-0 Leafs at that point. You go to the second period. John Tavares, he scores. Nylander, a couple big helpers in this game on the Tavares goal and on Matthews' 60th. But Nylander and Lyubushkin assist on John Tavares' 27th goal. Now, I was considering doing just the tip here, but this wasn't up to This wasn't up to our standards.
It wasn't a tip.
No,
it wasn't a tip.
What would you call it? Don't say it.
Not a redirect.
No, not a redirect.
I was watching when I was watching the games. There was one.
It was kind of a tip. There was a little bit of.
It was a tip, but it wasn't a tip.
No,
it was more of a shocker.
Yeah, it wasn't
not a tip.
Not good enough to do just the tip. Not especially for Tavares standards. No.
There's a guy.
You know what that is? That was more of just a tap in. I think that was a tap in. Just tap it in. Just tap it in.
A finger tap.
Yeah, just finger tap.
Yeah. I was on Twitter when Spezza, he had his stick out and the puck just missed it in the air. And a guy from The Athletic, I almost wrote to him, but I didn't. And he's like, wouldn't have been amazing if Spezza had redirected that in the net. I'm like,
oh, dude, come on, bud. Yeah, just that day to make it 2-0 Leafs, that Tavares goal, more of a, not a tip in, more of a tap in. I almost had a tap in this morning. Didn't go my way. But anyway, so good to see Johnny, though, get a goal. Hopefully that'll get him heated up for the playoffs, because we're gonna need him. Huge.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
Johnny's got to feel good about himself going in. And Willie, like you said, he's been playing pretty good. He had a couple helpers last night. He's got to feel good about himself too.
So, yeah. Sorry. I should say this game. I think I messed that up. The for Matthews' goal, the game winner was in the second period, not in the first. There was no scoring in the first. For like half of this game was boring. Like Leafs were getting chances. Matthews was getting chances, but the scoring didn't come until late in the second and then early in the third, and that was it. So the first half of this game was not very exciting. It was just everyone, like, I'm watching this thinking, is he going to get it or not? Is he going to get it or not?
Yeah. And everyone else is saying, don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Get through the games. And Detroit's just thinking, pack my bags, get me to the beach, have a couple tap-ins.
Oh,
that's it.
Fucking right. Just tap it in. But so anyway, so then all of a sudden they get the power play. And holy fuck, as Joe Bowen described in the intro, my goodness, man, this was like, okay, his 50th goal of the season in the empty net. That was no fun. The Dallas game, you know what they say. We already know, like, if you listen to the episode where he passed Rick Vive out in Dallas, Texas, that's where, I forgot, by the way, that's where they had the party. That's where he ran into the groin injury, not the Montreal game where he scored.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, I thought you said it. Oh, okay,
private plane ride home.
Yeah, that's right. So, big time party in the shower there. The party last night in the shower too. We'll get to that later. But look, man, he fucking, like, the Dallas game, like, his tying Rick Vive, and when he passed Rick Vive, like, the goals were incredible, right? Like, great. That Dallas game, absolutely incredible. Last night, that fucking power play goal, his 60th goal of the season, like, he kind of loops back, almost offside.
Yeah, right on the tip of offside.
Right on the tip of offside. He comes, like, ripping down the middle. It's like everyone on Detroit just, like, got out of the way. They're like, we're not going to get in front of
They parted the sea and just let
like,
him
just do it, shoot it, man. But Chris Cuthbert said on the TV, he literally said, when Austin looped back in and the ref called it like it wasn't offside and he starts approaching the hash marks, Chris Cuthbert goes, "Here it comes." Did you catch him say that?
Yeah, I did.
Like, he knew it was going to happen before it even happened.
I knew it was going to happen. I think everybody watching was like, okay, here it is. Yeah. Vintage mustache. I mean, what did Bowen say? From the sweet spot?
Well, yeah, that was on the recap, though, right? From this. Well, because Bowen thought it was offside almost. He goes, oh, like.
I thought it was offside. Yeah, after he scored, I kept rewinding it and being like, God, it was close, but it never came out. It never came out.
No, but it was so. If you go back and watch that replay, just that goal of the Sportsnet call and Cuthbert doing it, he literally says, as soon as it's not offside and he's approaching the hash marks, Cuthbert goes, "Here it comes." Like, he couldn't believe it. It was great, but he called it, and sure enough, he just rips it. Vintage Austin Matthews rips it top fucking shelf, man. This was absolutely ridiculous. The celebration, Scotiabank Arena's going fucking nuts. Like, this is insane. Obviously, nothing we've ever seen before in our life. A Toronto Maple Leaf scores 60 goals.
Oh,
it's like, what? Like, what? It's crazy. All the shit that we've fucking dealt with over the years with fucking these teams.
I know. We finally got, like, one of the best players. One of the best players in the league is finally on the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, 60 goals. And one of the stats that Keefe was talking about it and they were writing about it today was he's like 11, 12 goals, 5-on-5 ahead of the next person.
That's
so
crazy.
he scores the majority of these goals 5-on-5, not power play goals. This is 5-on-5. That's unbelievable. There's been no better 5-on-5 goal scorer since he's come in the league, like since his second season.
Yeah.
Just unreal.
So he is Draisaitl's got 55 goals. Matthews has 60. Edmonton has 2 games left, but they clinched a playoff spot last night. I doubt they're going to dress. So it's the Rocket with Shar. It's over. The Rocket with Shar trophy is over. Good. And the Hart Trophy, I would say, is over too. Like, he's got them both in the bag. The first time a guy has scored 60 goals in 10 years. Stamkos was the last guy to do it in 2011, 2012. And before Stamkos, it was Ovechkin in like the mid 2000s or whatever. In the last 20 years, there's been 3 guys to score 60 goals. Ovechkin, Stamkos, and Austin Matthews. That's it. In the last 20 years, man.
I know it's an unbelievable accomplishment, and you could tell that's why he wanted it so bad. I know he said in the intermission, "Oh, it's not top priority," but I'd like to get it. You know, he really, really wanted it. He wants to be in that, in the same breath as Ovechkin and Stamkos. He wants to be
Of
in that
course.
league, and he
Of
is.
course. And they were also throwing stats up about like going back further to the early 90s with Lemieux and Yager doing it in the same season. And like, so they're talking about guys like Lemieux and Yager and Ovechkin and Stamkos. And there might have been Pavel Bure had something, I think, and maybe McGillney too. But like the list is small. Well, dude, he's the 21st player ever in the history of the National Hockey League to score 60 goals. The 21st player ever to do it in the history of the fucking league.
I know, it's unbelievable.
It's a short
Amazing.
that's a short list, man.
Yeah.
So
League's 100 years old. That's a short list, but
incredible.
Good for Austin
And-
Matthews, man.
Oh, incredible, man. And again, like it's basically Austin Matthews fucking appreciation night here again for the second time in about 2 weeks. But what are you going to do? This is crazy, right? We've never seen this before.
No. We've never like no one's beat Rick Vive's record in our lifetime.
I know.
So, and now we have a 60 goal scorer. Bring it on.
It's crazy. And here's the thing. So he played, I think last night was his 73rd game that he played, I think. And maybe not. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure how many games he's missed.
It's around there.
He's missed almost 10 games this season due to injury or whatever the case may be. Couple for a suspension when he cross-checked fucking Dahlin right in the fucking chops.
Yeah, he's missed close to 10 games, which makes it even more incredible.
And when he did come back off the wrist injury,
John P says first American 60 plus 2. That's right. First American to score 60 goals.
Yeah. So, and
just records left, right, and center. Left, right, and center. This guy's dropping.
It has been that type of season. And when he came back off of the wrist injury, Chad, like out of the gates, he kind of got off to a slow start. I don't think he scored in his first 3 or 4 games. So you combine that in with the not 8, 9, or 10 games that he missed. Realistically, we're looking at 65, possibly 70 goal season for Austin Matthews.
Yeah, if he plays a full 82, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if he has a training camp, like let's not forget, he didn't even have training camp because of the wrist, and he didn't score for the first like 4 or 5 games, or maybe he had like one goal in his first half dozen games.
Exactly.
So if this
not
guy
a tip, he's
camp,
usually a hot starter out of the gates. That wasn't the case this year.
Full training camp and a full 82. You're right. Well, just 3 weeks ago, we did a podcast here where we actually debated if he could get to 65, and then he missed however many games with the injury, and he didn't.
He could have got there. He would have got there for sure.
So,
but I mean, it's incredible. 60 goal scorer without a doubt, but I believe he's closer to a 70 goal scorer because of the things we just talked about. I really do. 10 games, you add another 10 games on there where he's like, he could pop 10 goals in 10 games, no fucking problem. No fucking problem.
I know it'll be interesting to see if he's got a few years left under this contract.
Two after this
2 year. If he can break his own record. I think he can. Like
I think he can if he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy and everything goes his way, I think he could break 60. And I don't know if he's going to play on Friday, but he may get higher than 60. He may get 61.
I don't think okay, we'll get into that, but I don't think with Austin scoring 60, like it's to me, I believe he could have scored more, but I don't know. It's just such an incredible accomplishment, man. Like the stadium was jacked. I think they could have been a little more jacked, but they were still pretty jacked, like standing ovation and whatever. He seemed pretty humble about it, right? Like he was kind of taking it in stride. Like, like he wanted to do it, but he didn't, I don't know. Like he's saying all the right things, his teammates, and he's thanking everybody. He's thanking the fans, thanking his teammates.
I think because of where the Leafs are, right? If they lose in the first round, no one's going to give a shit about his 60 goals. So he's got to be humble and kind of quiet about it because what really matters is coming up next week.
Yeah. Yep. No, 100%, man. So anyway, I don't know. I guess we go to, we should probably say that. So when they get into, we'll go to the box, take a little look inside the box first, and then I'll get to the after game celebration in the locker room. And I think some very special guests are going to make an appearance here. So look, man, we go to the box score, a little look inside the box, 3-0 for the Leafs. Leafs outshoot them 36-20. Jack Campbell, 20 save shutout. Jack played fairly well. I mean, it's Detroit, whatever, but just to get Jack's confidence going,
He's looked good. He's looked good for about a month.
Exactly. So to have his record in April is actually extremely good. I don't think he's lost in regulation. I don't think so.
I know he's looked good. Just what we need. Just what we need going into the playoffs.
Yeah. The Detroit Red Wings out-hit them 32-15 anyway, whatever. Face-offs basically dead even, 25 wins for the Leafs, 22 for the Red Wings. Detroit was 0 for 3 on the power play, and the Leafs were 1 for 2, and that one goal was Auston Matthews' 60th goal of the season. There it is, man. 2 goals for Matthews, 2 assists for Nylander. Blackwell had an assist, Labushkin, Riley, Spezza, Tavares with the other goal. And then we get to the little after game celebrations. So they start hitting, and like, obviously he was the first star. He comes out, all that. And then they go to the locker room for a little bit of a party. Now, okay, did you see where they, like, the video of him walking back to the dressing room after the game?
Yeah. And
Okay.
everyone, like, dumped the water bottles on him?
Yeah, the water bottles. Like, everyone's going crazy, jumping up and down, water bottles. Now, someone didn't have water bottles. There was one person that had something else in his hands. Do you know who that was?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay.
I didn't catch it.
Jack Campbell had his squirt bottles in his hands that he squirts his gear down with. He's like, he was asked about it today. He's like, couldn't find a water bottle, so I just grabbed my squirt bottles. He's like, has his squirt bottles sitting beside him. Like, he can't get his gear wet enough, Jack. Like, he cannot get it wet enough. So,
which is the weirdest thing.
Austin's coming in. Everyone's jumping up and down, just pouring water on him or Gatorade, whatever. Jack Campbell's got one squirt bottle in one hand, one squirt bottle in the other, and he just starts fucking squirting them with the squirt bottles. It was hilarious. And then when he was done squirting Austin, Jack started squirting other people. Like, he didn't stop. He was having so much fun. I couldn't see, there was people off camera, but Jack, you could see Jack, and like the squirt was going out of the camera stream, but you could tell he was squirting somebody. So he didn't stop. He was just squirting all. Jack was squirting all over the place.
Once you start a squirt, you can't stop.
Yeah. So
you just gotta let it go till the bottle's dry.
Yeah, man. So I love that. I thought it was hilarious. And who's waiting in the showers afterwards? Who's the boss, baby? Tony Danza was there with a big old meal, and he said, I'm going to clean up after. No problem. I'm going to take care of this whole mess. Let's make a huge mess here. And Tony Danza came in with his apron on and his whole mop.
Just an apron, a mop, and a dinner?
Yeah, dinner first, okay. And then he had his apron and his mop to mop up Jack's squirt. And he said, just have at it, boys. But Tony was there for congratulations. He said, Tony Danza said, usually Tony's used to, who's the boss? It's me, Tony Danza. But now he's like, there's a new boss. And it's the other Tony. It's Poppy. It's Auston Matthews. Who's the boss? Tony Danza and Auston Matthews.
Unbelievable. I did not know Tony Danza was there.
He was there. Know who else was there? No,
this is all breaking info. Who was there?
Austin gets out of the shower. Who's there with, like, in his spandex uniform and his Bayside Tigers fucking hoodie?
AC Slater?
No sleeves that he ripped off his hoodie. Yeah, AC Slater's just hanging around in spandex, bulging. He's just bulging all over the place.
Did a ballet dance for everybody in the room?
He wanted to wrestle.
Oh, yeah.
He said, yeah, man, 60 goals. Let's have a little wrestle. Let's have a little wrestle match. Austin said, can't do it, bud. I'm still coming back from my groin party in Dallas, Texas. He said, and then all of a sudden, Preppy peeks his head from around the corner.
Morris?
Yeah, and Zach says, no, whoa, man. He says, you cannot wrestle. Austin cannot wrestle. He's been working overtime. Okay. When he was in Dallas, Texas, he was working overtime.
And then did Morris and AC wrestle like in that episode where they fought?
No, they just all shook it out. They were just reminiscing about Kelly Kapowski and Spano and the good old days. And, I think Austin got a few numbers, like a couple digits to give some calls to some of the former Saved by the Bell cast members. And that was it, man. Like, I think, Preppy and Slater, they just wanted to show up and congratulate. Well, Slater wanted to wrestle, but Austin said, whoa, bud.
Yeah, that's
Can't
a little
do
much.
it.
That's a little much.
Blew my groin out in Dallas, bud. Come on now, Slater.
He always wants that. He always wants to do that.
I know, Slater. That's all he wants to do is wrestle.
I saw one time on like Inside Edition or one of those one of those entertainment shows. They
Probably Extra. That's what he's on that
Extra.
show, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a host, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's him. So he's like interviewing at a pool with some celebrity, and then it cuts. And when it comes back, he's down to just like a Speedo and he's in the hot tub. And
Of
he's
course.
like wrestling with the girl that he's interviewing in the hot tub.
Typical fucking AC Slater, man. That's
Like,
all that guy gives a shit about.
Just wrestling and getting down to his briefs.
That's all he
That's
does,
it.
man. That's all that motherfucker does, man. Absolutely brutal. So,
Well,
okay.
congratulations, Austin Matthews.
Oh, incredible, man. Like literally, absolutely incredible. All right, what are you thinking here, man? Where do you want to go next on this? We got a few things we can hit on. There's one regular season game left against the Boston Bruins. Absolutely meaningless game. Do you want to go to load management here?
Yeah,
or where do you want to go?
let's talk about the load management. We've had a few people comment on it. Yeah, a lot of people saying the same thing, that it's going to be a big rest day for a lot of players on Friday, and I'm okay with that. What have you got to lose?
We should also say that we didn't forget to say that the Leafs, with the win over Detroit, they officially clinch the second spot in the Atlantic and home ice for the first round of the playoffs against either the Tampa Bay Lightning or the Boston Bruins. It looks like it's Tampa. They both have 2 games left. I don't know. Like Tampa, it looks like it's going to be Tampa Bay, but it's not official yet. So by the time we do our next podcast Friday after the Bruins game, we will know for sure. But it's like what, 99% that it's going to be the fucking Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, I think the actual percentage is like 93%.
Yeah.
Like there's a 7% chance that Boston will run out the table and Tampa will go 0-3, but I don't see it.
0-2. They both have 2 games left.
Sorry, 0-2. Yeah.
So,
Tampa just needs 1 point, right? Because I believe they have the tiebreaker.
I think so.
So
yeah, 1 point would do it. That's right. That's right. Because Boston's still 3 behind them. So
I don't see Tampa. The way they're playing right now.
You never know though. Like, do you think there's any part of Tampa Bay that would be like, okay, if they don't finish third and get the Leafs, if they get the wild card, they're going to play the Carolina Hurricanes.
No, it's not about who they're going to play. It's about getting into playoff form. Like they have flicked a switch and it's just
doesn't matter who they play.
Doesn't matter. We're going to steamroll whoever.
They're like, we'll beat anybody.
These guys care. No. They've won back-to-back Stanley Cups. There's nobody they can't beat. They are the champs until proven otherwise. So
yeah, no, I agree with that.
They care.
I would agree with that.
But so Jay says Mitch needs to hit 100 points. How important?
He needs 3, not 2. He needs 3 points.
I know, but I think what he's saying is
needs to hit 100 points. I
get
it.
He needs to hit 100 points so that he should play, not rest.
Okay.
How important do you think the 100 points actually is?
I think, to me, it's not important at all. But I think the 60 goals was way more important. There's been like 9 guys that have already hit 100 points. Austin's one of them. So,
I know for Mitch, it's a huge accomplishment.
Of course it is, but I
think if Keefe says, "Listen, take a rest and get ready for the playoffs," he should do it and not be like, "No, I want to try to get 100 points."
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not sure like if they should rest him or not, but I'm convinced he's going to play because he's had several multi-point games this season, and if Boston's got nothing to play, the Leafs have nothing to play for. If it's already locked up going into Friday night and Boston knows they don't need to win that game, you might see them play a lesser lineup and Mitch might have a better chance at getting it. I think he plays. I have a feeling he plays. Do you not think?
Yeah, he might. I mean, if you're right, if Boston is in a situation where they know they've got the first wild card spot or whatever locked up and they're going to play Carolina, they're probably going to rest their players because they're older and they need the rest before their playoff drive. So yeah, and they play the night before in Buffalo. So it'd be the second of a back-to-back. It'd be the perfect time to rest a lot of those guys.
Yep.
So I agree. If they played Mitch, he'd have a good chance of getting it. But who's he going to play with? Who do you like? Do you rest Matthews now that he's hit 60?
100% for sure. I would.
He still kind of has a nagging injury, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be playing Austin Matthews. I'd be sitting a bunch of guys. Honestly, I would start with, I wouldn't play Giordano. I wouldn't play Riley. There'd be a bunch of guys I wouldn't play personally. I'd play.
Why take the chance that one of them is going to have any injury whatsoever that puts them out of any playoff time.
For sure. Like, I don't know
Not
how
worth
many.
it.
No, I don't know how many guys they can get up from the Marlies to play, but I would be sitting a bunch of guys. I'd start with Austin and a bunch of guys on the bat. Well, especially Muzzin will play, I believe, but like, well, we didn't even get into that. But
Guys who need to play, like
Yeah.
who haven't played, Muzzin will play, and they got to have somebody for Mitch to play with, like maybe JT.
Well, Tavares, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Tavares already got a game off, so I think Tavares plays. And I don't know, like I would almost just be like, who feels like they need a rev up for the play? They're going to be playing 2 or 3 days later. There's not a huge like.
I know, but some guys don't like a long break because if you
Well-
take Friday off, you won't have played for a week. Some guys don't like the long break, and some guys will need it, I guess.
True that. Yeah. So I don't know then. I'm not sure. Like Campbell was talking today about like, I'm just going to do what the coaches want, whatever. Like that's not how it should be here. It should be like, Jack, do you want to play or do you want the time off? Like you got to be asking, what do you want to do? Like in that situation for sure. And I would same with a bunch of these guys. Morgan, do you want to play? Gio, do you want to play or do you want the days off? Like you tell me what you fucking need and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened in the doctor's office with me this morning.
Yeah. Like you mean with your pants?
Just you tell me what you need and that's what we're going to do.
But she did tell you what she needed. She said, take your tarp off and sit on the chair. And you were the one in your imagination was like, okay, I'm not sure if she wants me to take my pants off, but I think she does.
Right. That's right.
So
yeah, you're right. So my mistake.
And you know what? The problem is, just like you in the waiting room, these guys are going to want to give it. They're going to want to play on Friday. So I think it's up to Keefe to be like, no, you're sitting. Like if you go to a lot of these guys and say, do you want to rest? To be like, no, I want to play. I want to be ready for the playoffs. He's got to just go, Just like that girl Bick in your chest. She had to just be like, no.
You probably are going to call this podcast 60 or something to do with 69. Imagine we'll get to that in a second. 60 something, whatever. You might want to consider calling it the waiting room because that would have been the title of the porno right there, the waiting room.
There's actually already a porn called the waiting room.
Of course there is. But did it include Bic razors? I don't know. Maybe it did.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, anyway, whatever. So, but 60, man, like think how he was so close to 69.
No, he wasn't. He's 9 goals away.
That's close. That's close.
That's the closest any league
He's in the 60s already. Like you're getting there.
Yeah,
you're getting
true.
there.
That's
9
true.
more. Fuck, man. That's the goal for next season. 69. But anyway, impressive. So I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts? Like, do you not just go to the guys and be like, look, do you want to play, or do you not even leave it up to them and just be like, you're not playing?
I don't leave it up to them. I think Keefe's just got to make the call. He's got to put a lineup card out there and be like, all right, it's Toronto Marlies versus the Boston Bruins on Friday night.
Okay, so with that being said, then who do you specifically not play? If you're the head coach, who specifically are you
number
not
one,
playing?
I know Austin will probably want to play. I don't play Austin. I want him as healthy as he can be going into the playoffs. I probably don't play Jack Campbell just because even though
too risky.
If he pulls his groin,
yeah,
then you got to go. You got to play the Tampa Bay Lightning with Shalgren. No. And then, like you said, I'd probably give Riley a break because I feel like Riley plays every game and is on the ice all the time.
He's played every game this season.
So, yeah, he needs a break. And then, other than that, JT, maybe the older guys, Spezza, Gio, they're definitely going to get a rest. JT, maybe. Willie, I don't know if Willie really needs it.
No.
He kind of seems to float throughout the game. He doesn't really give it. He doesn't get hurt all that often. So,
yeah, agreed.
I think it's mostly Matthews and Campbell and Riley really need the rest. And if Mitch wants to take it, he can. But like a couple of our comments have said, he's going to play and he's going to go for the 100 points.
Okay. I agree with pretty much everything you said there. And I also think that like Mitch.
No,
well, that's not going to happen. But that would be interesting. Put Hutch in net.
Hutch in net now.
No, but
John, no.
No, but yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said there. I don't know though. As far as Mitch, I think Mitch is going to play because it's still possible. It's unlikely that he gets to 100 points, but it is still possible. He should be like if he wants to play, I think, just whatever in the last regular season game, but he really should be like not super concerned about that. Like you said earlier, it would be cool to get to 100 points, but really his main focus now should be like, what do I need to focus on to help this team beat the fucking Tampa Bay Lightning?
Well, how can I be better than he's been one of the worst playoff performers in a Leaf uniform in the last few seasons.
Big time.
So he shouldn't give a shit about his 3 points that he needs to hit 100. He's got to think, what do I need to do to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning?
And it's not about to get any easier.
No, we'll get into this playoff preview, but
yeah,
if you look at the way Tampa plays playoff hockey,
oh, dude,
they are going to push Marner around. They're going to be up in his grill. He's not a very big guy. It's going to be tough on him. Like Matthews has got the size and can kind of create space for himself. It's going to be so tough for Mitch. So tough for Mitch. So he's got to, if I were him, I'd just be thinking, how do I do that? And working on that and screw the 3 points. If he wants to play just to keep himself fresh, that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
You want to stay fresh.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens there. So do you want to get into some injury updates here as we get going?
Yeah, give us some injury updates.
Maybe what we should do first is, because we're in a celebratory mood, because Austin gets to 60 goals, the first Leaf ever to get to 60 goals. Absolutely incredible. Maybe we should hear from a very special sponsor this evening. Very celebratory. Maybe we get into a little bit of Belfour spirits in the celebratory mood.
Let's have a word from Eddie the Eagle and his spirits.
Hi, Ed Belfour here, Belfour Spirits.
Making some of the best whiskey in the world. We've been at this for 5 years, going on 6 years. And this is family operated. We go to work every day. We work on every aspect of this business. We take great pride, at watching people drink our whiskey and that big smile on their face. They're like, wow, this is really, really good. That's what's so awesome, is when you see those people loving your whiskey. And it's like when I played a game and at the end of the game, they're chanting my name. We just want to make really great tasting whiskey, and that's our goal. And, as it ages, it's only going to get better. We're very proud of that.
Buy a bottle and I'll sign it for you. Buy 2, I'll help you drink the second one. Have a great day.
Belfour Spirits. I don't know if you can get it at the LCBO, but I'll say, you can get it at the LCBO.
Yeah, I think you can actually. But you know what? Like, how they probably popped in. What do you think happened last night after the showers cleared out and they probably went upstairs to the private lounge? There might have been a roped off section somewhere. Belfour comes out of nowhere with the leather jacket. He's got the Belfour Spirits.
No, times have changed, man.
Oh, I don't think so, man.
These guys are focused on the playoffs. Eddie probably went. Yeah, Eddie was definitely there, but I don't think anyone went with him.
Oh, I think so.
Maybe Tony Danza, Zach Morris, AC Slater, Ed Belfour.
Dude, that's such a memorable, that's such a moment that, it's going to live forever. Like, the first Leaf ever to score 60, I guarantee you there was some type of little bit.
There was definitely a type of celebration, but these guys have got to stay focused, right? Like, there was probably a little bit of celebration, but I don't think it was a shit show.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well, you never know. If Belfour was there, guaranteed shit show. Guaranteed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. His shit shows, I think, revolve a lot around him by himself.
Okay, so we already talked about the massive loads and what's going to be coming up here on Friday. Who's going to have a massive load? Who's going to have a small load? We'll see what happens. Injury updates from practice today. Catch any of what was going on? Sheldon Keefe's presser?
No, but I always trust you got an eye on everybody's groin.
Yeah, I got an eye on everybody's groin. So Rasmus Sandin was possibly scheduled to get back in the lineup sometime this week. Obviously, he didn't play in the Detroit game, but they thought maybe he would be ready to go against Boston. He is not cleared to play. So he will not be playing he won't play in the remaining games. So that for sure tells me that he will not dress in game 1 of the playoffs, without a doubt in my mind. They're not going to throw him in there ice cold. I don't see it happening. So I think Sandin now, the only time, and we'll get to the D pairs in a second here, the only time that Sandin draws in now, I think, is if there's an injury on the blue line, or if someone's really like Muslin or something is not playing well. And then or if they're down 2-0 in the series, or if they're down whatever 3-1, like maybe Sandin draws in. But as of right now, I don't see Sandin getting in for at least the first couple playoff games.
Yeah, I could.
He hasn't played. He hasn't played since he hasn't played in a long time, man.
He would. Yeah, I know. It sucks because I just feel like either Muzzin is not gonna have a good playoff or he's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yeah, I still agree with that. We'll get to the D pairs in a sec. So Cachet is apparently practicing with the team.
Yeah, he is, and he's wearing a non-contact or like a contact jersey.
Yeah, so that to me, that's very. I don't know what they do there. He hasn't played in a while either, and he's very like I don't know. I honestly don't know what you do there. If he gets the clear and he's good to go, are you putting him in? Like, or are you waiting for an injury? Like, what are you doing there?
Well, it's totally 100% up to the medical staff, up to the doctors. There's no way Sheldon Keefe is going to put him in unless a doctor.
No, if he's cleared, are you putting him? Is he in your top 12 to start?
Oh God, I don't know. They've actually played pretty well lately. Take away the Tampa game, actually played pretty well, but maybe, yeah.
Well, okay, we'll get into our projected.
Yeah, you know what? Yes, he is, because Bunting won't be ready for game 1, right?
Okay, well, there was an update there. They're expecting that Bunting will be ready for game 1.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, because the first round of talk on that was that he wasn't going to be ready for game 1.
Sheldon Keefe seemed confident that Bunting will be ready for game 1.
What a groin.
Absolutely unbelievable groin. Did we ever get to the bottom of that or what?
I know.
But
we knew it was a groin. We always know it's a groin.
Yeah. Fool me once.
They never fool us ever.
You can't. Yeah,
They can't fool us.
No, don't get fooled. Can't get fooled again. There's an old saying about groins, you know?
Yeah, fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. A fool can't get fooled again.
Can't get fooled again, man. You're not going to pull the quick one over on us when we know it's a groin injury. Figure it out. Come on. Come on now. It's simple. But it's science, man. But look, so it looks like Bunting will be in for game 1 as of right now. But look, we'll get into when we do after the Boston game. We'll have really nothing to talk about after that game. It's a meaningless game. We'll see. Maybe if Mitch gets to 100, whatever. But who played net? There'll be some things to talk about. But gearing up for the playoffs, we can get into like who would be. You want to do like not tonight, obviously, in the next couple episodes. You want to do like who you would have, like your top 12 and my top 12, like who you would have in.
That would be great because I'd like to sit down and actually write a list and think about it and put my lines together.
Will Nylander be back with Tavares? Are they going to keep Mikheyev up there? Will they put Mikheyev back with Engvall and Camp? If Cachet's ready to go, where does he fit into that mix? So, because you go back to earlier in the season when it was Engvall, Camp, and Cachet, that third line was absolutely fucking dynamite.
Yeah. So, and definitely the D pairings. I'm looking at the comments right now. I don't see any Justin Hall. A lot of people calling for Gio and Liljegren to stay together.
Okay, so let's go to the D pairs then. That's really it on the end. Like, there's no one else that's injured. So, like, I'm sure there's
no, and we'll be back Friday night after the Boston game for a quick podcast, and then join us Sunday night, probably at 8:30. We're going to do our playoff preview. We're going to get into the matchups. We're going to look deep. We're going to look deep inside this playoff round because, they may win a round this year.
They might, but it's going to be like the worst case scenario possible. Out of all of the other 15 teams in the Stanley Cup playoffs, this is the team that I would pick last to play out of all of them. I would take my chances with anyone else. I would rather play
Stanley Cup champions.
I'd rather play Colorado.
Yeah. And we'll get into it Sunday. Like
there's no easy matchup, but we have to beat the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champions to move past the first round. Yeah. Like, it's not like we're drawing Tampa in the third round. This is the fucking first round matchup. It's tough sledding, man. But
I know. And we'll get into it Sunday night once we know 100%. I know it's like a 99% chance they're playing Tampa, but once we know for sure, we'll get into it.
Boston, come on. Let's go.
Let's get into the D pairings.
Okay.
And then we'll be back Friday night.
So quick D pairings. I mean, look, man. For the playoffs, I think it looks like what it looked like in the Detroit game. Hall didn't play. You had Muzzin. Muzzin draws. Oh my God. They found him. They found this fucking guy. Where was he? Where has he been? They found him. He sneaks in
hurt.
there. I guess so. I think he's still hurt because Sheldon Keefe today too. He's like, he basically said Jake's not going to be 100%. They're going to play him anyway. So that's great. That's great news. He's not going to be 100%.
He won't make it past game 2.
We know how that goes. Yes, you can't count on him. So Sandin might be getting drawn in sooner than we fucking think here. But
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so Hall was out last night because Muzzin played. So Muzzin, Brody, Riley Labushkin, Giordano, Liljegren. That's the play for me for game 1. That's it. That's it for game 1 right there. I don't change it. If they scratch Liljegren, I'm going to lose it. Liljegren and Giordano. Liljegren played fucking awesome again last night against Detroit. His confidence is growing and growing. That's not the only thing that's fucking growing and growing with Liljegren. So I hear.
Well, they say he's a grower. He's just but
dude,
you know what though? He didn't look great in the Tampa game. I know none of them did, but he got pushed around huge. But so did Justin Hall, so it doesn't matter. But I am 100% on board with that. That is the defense pair I would go with, like without Sandin, for game 1 of the playoffs. For sure.
If it's not that, what would change? What would Sheldon Keefe change if it's not that? Liljegren out and Justin Hall in, and they play Giordano. Okay, so what if they did this? Brody with Giordano. You keep Riley and Labushkin together. Brody plays with Giordano, and Hall and Muzzin are your third pair.
You can't do that because I've said this a million times on this podcast. Justin Hall needs someone to prop him up. And at 80% Jake Muzzin, we've seen it this season, cannot do that. So if you're going to play Hall, he's got to play with Gio or Brody. He has to play with one of those two guys because they prop him up and make him better. If you put him with Muzzin, that pair will get eaten alive by the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, no, dude, I don't want that. That's not like how many times have we seen this season the Hall and Muzzin pair does not fucking work.
Because Muzzin hasn't been 100%. When Muzzin's 100%, it works. Okay. But he's not even close to. He's maybe 65% Jake Muzzin.
Then maybe he shouldn't be in the lineup then.
Maybe he shouldn't be in the lineup, but I would still take a 65% Jake Muzzin over Justin Hall. Okay. I just would rather Liljegren or Sandin in the lineup over Justin Hall.
Oh, so would I. So we're both in agreement, at least to start game 1, Justin Hall will not be in the lineup.
I hope so, but
I think
I've thought that for big games all year, and he somehow finds his way into the lineup. So we'll see.
To me, Liljegren has surpassed him and deserves to be in that top 6 to start.
Yes,
Hall
sir.
should be that's my opinion. Like I think Liljegren brings more, and he's just played better. That's plain and simple as that. So
yeah,
a few quick things to go out on. Anything else you want to add about? Did we miss anything or whatever? I just have a couple other things that are not specifically Leaf related.
One thing. I read an interesting stat today about the Leafs, and this is kind of a cool stat. Next to the Colorado Avalanche, the Leafs have the most wins in actual regulation.
53?
Well, no, they've won a couple games in overtime.
Oh, you said regulation.
In regulation in 60 minutes. So finishing like you would in the playoffs because there's no 3-on-3 or a shootout in the playoffs.
Yep.
Them in Colorado lead the league with the most amount of wins. I don't have the exact number, but it was well ahead of like Tampa and Florida and Boston.
Okay, yeah.
So
that's interesting.
It is. It's very interesting because come playoff time, shootouts and 3-on-3 don't fucking matter.
Dude, if it wasn't for Florida having like this unbelievable lights out fucking season.
Florida's won a ton of games in overtime and shootouts.
Yeah. Dude, and like the Leafs have 111 points or 100.
How many times have they gone to overtime this year? Maybe a handful. How many times have they gone to a shootout? 3, 4?
Sorry, excuse me. I think they're sitting at 113 points right now. Points. If they beat the Bruins, they finished the season with 115 points.
And the majority of those points
and they're not going to
60 minutes.
And they're not going to win the Atlantic. That's 10 points more than any season ever in the history of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
And you're second place.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. But they are up there with the Colorados and with the Floridas. They're right there at the top of the league. Like they're going to finish top 5 in the league. They're right there. But anyway, yeah, that's crazy. So it's been a great season. We'll do.
It has been a great season. But my point is that we're all kind of nervous about Tampa Bay and Boston. We're all kind of nervous about the playoffs. But that stat stuck out to me because they've kind of been winning the way you win in the playoffs all season more than anybody else in the league, and that's 5-on-5 in regulation. And I
Yeah.
like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
that's
If
great.
they were 115 points, but they had 15 3-on-3 overtime wins, it gets a little shady, but not this team.
No,
They've
I
been
like
doing
that.
it.
I
Yeah.
like that. That's a good thing to bring up. That's good. Hey man, that's an important stat. Like to win games in regulation 5-on-5. I
Because
like that.
yeah, you need that in the playoffs. That's how
Big
it's played.
time. Big time.
There's no
Okay.
fucking penalties, and they're the best 5-on-5 scoring team in the league next to, I think, Florida and Colorado.
So yeah, so before we do our playoff preview on Sunday night, we'll do a live post game probably around 10 o'clock after the Bruins game on Friday night, a live post game. Maybe
Yeah.
during that podcast, we'll kind of do a little bit of a season recap. We'll take a look back at some of the highlights and some of the lowlights, and maybe we'll just do a quick season recap after the Boston game. And then we put the regular season to bed and it's straight fucking playoff preview for Sunday's podcast. Sound good?
Love it.
Okay, so I want to run in a couple quick things before we go. I'll try to go as quick as possible. Mentioned this on a previous podcast, but it's right around the corner, so I'm going to bring it up again. The Doug Gilmour meet and greet is going down this Saturday, April 30th at Certified Sports Memorabilia in Concord, Ontario. Still tickets available. Date and time. So I just said that. Saturday, April 30th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. If anyone missed it the first time, pricing. You bring one item to get signed, plus a photo with Doug Gilmour. It's going to cost you $69.99. The exact right price that Doug Gilmour likes to charge. You want 3 items signed plus a photo? $93.93. For tickets, go to DougGilmour.com. Limited to only 193 fans, but there are still tickets available. And Chad, what did we say last time? Once that whole meet and greet's all wrapped up, he's going to have a little lunch after 1 p.m. Then he's going to go home with the wife, and it's full on.
What?
69 at home. 69. He might not get the 69 price that he wanted. Maybe he thought he would get more people paying for 69. So he might go home and take it out on the wife. That's what I see.
That's what happened. Oh, I forgot about someone just comment. Whoops. I forgot about Carolina. Carolina also up there, 46 regulation.
Okay, well, they have a great season too. So
Carolina's have a great season, and again, Carolina plays that great 5-on-5 tight game that you don't want to face in the playoffs.
So just to wrap up that Doug Gilmour thing, if you want to get involved with a photo and something signed or possibly in a 69 situation with Doug Gilmour and his wife, go to DougGilmour.com, find out more. Limited only to 193 fans. He loves to keep the numbers right on track, eh?
Oh yeah.
I
love it.
Listen, I gotta say this. I'm gonna try to do this as quick as possible because they played Detroit, and that's where Austin got the 60 goals. There was this story running around. I don't know if you saw this about the Detroit Red Wings fucking Zamboni driver. Did you see this story?
He peed in a drain and got fired?
Okay, the Detroit Red Wings fired their Zamboni driver Al Sabatka, I think is his name. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it, in March for peeing into a drain. Lawsuit now revealed, according to the Detroit Free Press, Sabatka, who is 67 years of age, was caught peeing into a drain between 2 Zambonis in the Machine's garage at Little Caesars Arena. Rumor has it he was also gnawing on a little slice of Little Caesars while he was taking a pee. But anyway, Sabatka, who was with the club for 51 years and is famously known for the swinging fan who throws the octopi. Did you know that's that guy?
No, I didn't know that. So
he's the fucking swinging. How are you going to fire the guy that's been for 51 years? He's been with the club for 51 years.
So they have the drains to catch the melting water in the Zamboni room, and he just decided to take a pee there.
Okay.
Like, is that even that bad?
Here's the thing, though, Chad. Honestly, he's suing the club for violation of civil rights, claiming discrimination on the basis of age and disability. He was diagnosed with a benign prostatic hypertrophy. I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
You gotta piss a lot,
which causes a frequent and uncontrollable need to urinate. Sabatka's legal team is seeking compensation damages. So, but I did not realize that he was just that alone, that he was the guy He's been with the club for 51 years. He's got a medical condition where he has to frequently urinate. He drives the Zamboni. How many people do you think he's the Zamboni driver? It's kind of like his own room back there. Just let the guy fucking pee. He's been picking up octopuses for fucking 30 years. Leave the fucking guy alone, man.
Whose idea was it to fire this guy?
I don't know. That's terrible.
Like if that was me and I was like in charge of hockey operations or arena, I guess it would be arena operations, and someone's like, hey, what's his name? Al?
Yeah, Al.
Someone's like, hey, Al was taking a piss in between the Zambonis. I'd be like, leave fucking Al alone.
Yeah, like number one, do you know about his medical condition? But like Yzerman's kind of running the show there. You'd think he would be. Yzerman doesn't strike me as the type of cat that would be like.
But that's a different. Like when I worked at the Blue Jays years ago, like they have a stadium operations department, has nothing to do with the team. It's somebody who operates all the staff that work there, from the guys who lay the field to everything, to the guys who like come out and rake, all the way to the people who sell popcorn. And it's the same in a hockey arena. The Zamboni drivers to the ushers to everybody else works under a different umbrella. So it was, and I remember the guy coming in at the Skydome and he did like a big meeting and he talked to everybody and he's like, I started as an usher and now I'm the executive of stadium operations. There was probably a guy like that in Detroit. Big suit guy who was like, you cannot piss in the drain around here. You're out of here.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Guys like us would be like, fuck that.
No, I think you're probably right. Okay, one more quick thing. So hopefully Al gets it all straightened out. I don't know if he wants his job back or not, or if he just wants some of that Little Caesars cha-ching. Don't know. But maybe he's sick of dealing with the octopus. I know I would be after that many fucking years. So anyway, check this out, man. I also ran across this. I don't know if you saw this or not, but some hockey website or something I'm not sure who it was doing an interview with Chris Chelios about Mike Babcock. Did you see any of this?
Yeah, this is old.
This is old, but this was okay. This is old, but Chris Chelios tells a story about when Mike Babcock tried to healthy scratch him for an outdoor game.
Yep.
Okay.
This was on Spittin' Chicklets.
Oh, was it on Spittin' Chicklets?
Yeah, it was on Spittin' Chicklets.
Okay,
I'm almost positive I listened to this interview on Spittin' Chicklets.
Okay, so anyway, quickly, the nuts and bolts of this. I didn't think it was on. Okay, maybe.
I think he was on there and he dug deep into.
He hates Mike Babcock, so that's why I'm bringing this up, because there's no love lost between us and Mike Babcock. Like,
they've had like every Babcock hater on that show, and they just drill them with Babcock questions. It's great.
So just quickly, like the nuts and bolts of it. There's a possible podcast title: The Nuts and Bolts. No, what are you going to call it? 60? 60, yeah, easy one. Okay, Chelios.
Austin Matthews scores 60 goals, and you want me to title the podcast "Nuts and Bolts" because Chris Chelios talked about Babcock in 2008?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I don't know. Dude. I still can't. Okay, yeah, I can't get past the doctor's office this morning. I don't know where my head's at here.
Anyway, finish your story.
Chelios just said that Babcock tried to healthy scratch him for the outdoor game at Wrigley Field against Chicago because he knew it was his hometown. That's how much of a douchebag Mike Babcock is, right? So anyway, and Chelios said that he went to Ken Holland and was for like 3 days arguing with him about like, I want to play. It's my family's going to be there, blah, blah, blah. So what Babs ended up doing was he suited up 7 defensemen for the first time ever. He'd never done that for the first time. He suited up 7D and
didn't play him.
He played him in the opening shift and then didn't play him another shift the rest of the game. That was his way of showing like Ken Holland and everybody who's fucking in charge. It's me, the big bad cock. I'm in charge.
That's if you want to listen to it, that is on Spittin' Chicklets. That is the interview I listened to.
Right. So he went on to say like,
he was like drinking and stuff.
Yeah, his sons were there or whatever in the second period. There was like 40 feet away. I guess he had they were outdoors and Chelios was like,
he was freezing fucking cold and he's like, bring me a shot of whiskey.
Yeah, he was drinking. He had one of his kids or something was bringing him booze and he was sitting on the end of the bench. And then he said that towards the end of the game, one of the assistant coaches tried to get him to go out on the ice with like a minute left to kill a penalty. And Chelios said, fuck you, man. Are you kidding me? Like, played one shift to open the game, bench the rest of the way, starts drinking on the bench. Then there's a minute left in the game, and they try to get Chelios to go out to kill a penalty.
Such a childish way.
But
of
that's
going about it.
just Babcock. That's just him, right? Like that is
Yeah,
a typical. You go back to like Mike Commodore stories and just like Babcock.
And the
is
Mike McDaniel story is the worst of all Babcock stories. So
Yeah,
the guy stuck at $14.99 because he couldn't play one game. It'd be
ridiculous.
like this Friday's game against Boston that's meaningless. Scratching, I don't know, Giordano. Because and he doesn't get to his 1,500 games just because you can. What's the point? The game means nothing, and that's what he did. But anyway.
If Babcock was still around, he probably would have just told Matthews, no, you don't need 60, bud. We need you for the playoffs. Just sit, rest up, make sure you're 100%. He probably wouldn't have even fucking dressed him.
Well,
so
listen, let's cleanse ourselves of this, not be in a bad mood. Austin Matthews gets 60 goals. The Leafs are second place, locked up home ice advantage, probably going to play the Tampa Bay Lightning. Friday night, we'll be back at 10 o'clock after the Boston game for a quick podcast. Sunday night, the playoff preview, and then the playoffs start. Catch every episode after each playoff game right here on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast from. For the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast, on Twitter at the Tip In Podcast. Email us at tipinpodcast@gmail.com. Go to our YouTube page at the Tip In Maple Leafs podcast. Hit like, hit subscribe, watch our live streams. Dale puts a lot of work into these things. And until next time, we will.
Hey, now listen, stay tuned for an update Friday. Stay tuned for an update Friday on our podcast. I have to take the old heart monitor, the old thing back on Friday morning. So we'll see what kind of.
You know what's going to happen? You're going to get all excited. You're going to like put on cologne. You're going to go in. It's going to be a dude.
Oh,
it's going to be like a 60-year-old doctor who's like, sit down. I'll take it off for you.
That would be so disappointing. I'm hoping it's the same chick. And if it is, I might bring up the old Doug Gilmour meet and greet, and I'll tell her the price, and let's see if we agree. If she says that price is just right, then I know things are about to go my way. We'll see what happens. Hey, go Leafs go in an absolute meaningless game on Friday, but we'll see you after the game live stream Friday night. Catch you later, everybody.
Mustache.